Hello, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell with a mini episode of Distraction. So today I am going to talk about an idea that Sarah, our wonderful producer, proposed, namely the importance of being able to change plans. You have your heart set on doing one thing, and for one reason or another, you have to change it. Now, this happens in my life all the time because I get my heart set on doing something, and then one of my kids, one of my friends, or most often my wife wants to do something else. The most common example of that is food, because Sue, my wife, and I both love food. I will have it in mind that I want to make X for dinner, and then she decides she wants Y. She does a lot of cooking. I do a lot of cooking. She seems to have veto power. So I will have it in mind that I want to make, say, meatloaf. I happen to love making meatloaf. And she will roll her eyes like that is the most boring, yesterday, dumb. She'll almost say, that's going to turn us into old people before we're old. You're going to make meatloaf, because she on certain nights she comes home late. I'm charged with making dinner. And if I announce I'm going to make meatloaf, she says, why don't you just cart me off to the dog food factory right now? And so I have to suddenly change my plan from the meatloaf that I had envisioned, licking my lips. I love meatloaf. You have to understand, I love meatloaf. Meatloaf, baked potato, and peas is one of my favorite meals. Now, I know that sounds stupid, but I happen to love that meal. She thinks it's not only boring, but it's like evidence of a complete and utter Philistine mentality. So for me to make the meatloaf, I have to catch her unaware. I have to surprise her with it, like slip it under the radar. So I then have to suddenly change my plan, come up with a new menu on the spot. And to do that, I have to be able to sort of have a built-in suppress my rage button. That's not rage is too strong a word, but suppress my frustration button, suppress my I'm going to make whatever I want to make and you better like it button. Like, obviously I can't say that to her because we've been married for 30 years, in part because I don't say those kind of things. Or if I do say them, I say them under my breath. So, this ability to change what you have your heart set on. Believe me, it's not like a huge thing. My heart is set on meatloaf. It's not like heart set on having a baby or heart set on, taking a trip to Paris to celebrate my 25th birthday. These are small things, but they become big things. These small things become big things. You look forward to going to a certain movie, or you look forward to a certain plan on the weekend, or you look forward to taking a nap, and there's another one. You look forward to taking a nap. Here, I get a chunk of time off on a weekend, and I've done my work, and I look forward to taking a nap between 4 and 5 o'clock, and somebody will come knock on the door and want to just chat. And, what am I going to say to that person? Sorry, Joe, I want to take a nap. And I don't want to talk to you. You can't say that. So what do? I can't turn him away. I can't say, Joe, it's you versus a nap. Guess what? A nap wins. No. Joe is there with a big smile on his face. He's brought over a 6-pack of beer. He wants to sit down on the backyard and shoot the breeze with me. And I talk about connection. I'm supposed to be someone who favors connection. I've got to welcome him in and pretend I'm really glad, but I'm not really glad. So how do I change that? How do I fake it? I have to change my plans, expectations, or be a real jerk and just, because I couldn't. I'm not capable. I'm not mentally adept enough. Now, if I were mentally adept, I could come up with something, but I'm not one of those people. I couldn't say, my grandmother just had a heart attack or something. So those excuses won't work. And of course, when Joe comes in and we sit in the backyard and have the beer, I'm glad he came over. But at that moment, I'm not glad, and I have to learn to adapt and adjust, just like I did with the meatloaf. These moments come up in life. These small moments of having to change your plans, I suggest, far more often than we usually like to believe. And I think the take-home message is don't get too wedded to your plans. Don't get so wedded that when you have to give them up, you feel like throwing a hissy fit. Because more likely than not, the alternative is not nearly as bad as you thought. Just like Joe with his beer in the backyard, the alternative may be better than the nap. You know, the alternative, what I made instead of the meatloaf, is probably better than the meatloaf. This is Dr. Ned Hallowell for Distraction. Distraction is a project of Sounds Great Media. The podcast is recorded and edited by the marvelously talented Pat Keogh, and our producer is the extraordinarily talented Sarah Guertin.